All right, a little bit of a late start to this one, but hey, better late than never for Tier 2 Hungary, Season 13 for RPL. After last week, the championship battle has changed drastically. Not too drastically, though, but enough to the point where John closes the gap on JTK. With JTK leading the championship, he's trying to win a championship for the first time in RPL. He came second last season to JNT Gaming. We're going to find out after last week's strategic masterclass with John if that can be done. So, we are just joining in the session. A bit late, though, but that's okay. We had a little last-minute plan of changes. Got Owen and Jack originally who was on deck for comms, but now it's me and you, George. Welcome along, by the way. 6 minutes left in the session.
Yeah, Owen is he was out for a family meal celebrating his birthday, which is tomorrow. And when he got home, all of his files on his computer for the game are just like corrupt, so he can't get onto the game. Hence the late call up for us.
Yes, that is very true. Leral, apparently needs an invite back. Leral Fusion, that is. I think he is in the Haas. Yes, he is. All right. So, yes, to clarify, for those of you just clicking on, yes, there is a late start to the stream. That is correct. That is, like we said, due to Owen and Jack originally going to be here. Last minute changes. We are here. Tier 3 winner yesterday. Congratulations to you, George. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that, but you can wrap up the title, so that's good to hear for next week. And for Tier 2's title, we'll talk about that quickly before we get to any qualifying laps. JTK, John, they're really the only ones realistically still in this. After today, mathematically, they'll be the only ones still in this. How are we feeling after last week's race in Silverstone, where John took advantage on the strategy, won the race over JTK in second, and really kind of put an exclamation mark on where this championship stands right now?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame he's not here today, because I think it was really shaping up to be an exciting end to the season in that respect. But I think now that John is a no-show today, it almost is game, set, match, championship to JTK, providing he can get a solid result today, which is a bit of a shame, but it's not as if he hadn't deserved it.
Yeah, it really sucks to not see John here. I'm not sure why he backed out last moment. We got 16 drivers in here. Let's talk about them quickly before we get drivers going on their final flying laps. JNT Gaming, just like last week, back in Tier 2 full-time. Also, Red Fire Tiger, he's in third. He gets to qualify this week. He finished fourth for the default setup last week. Blue Goggy and the Red Bull, Mentaki, due to personal reasons, had to step down from the full-time drive she was supposed to have for the rest of the season. Vodka's back. He's in Alpine. I believe Ardell was supposed to be in the Red Bull, but Goggy gets that car for tonight. Kipu in the McLaren. Kipu's good friend from F2. Josh here making his Tier 2 debut. F1 car's debut in the Haas. We have Luke Range, former F1 champion and F2 champion, back here in Tier 2 for the first time since Season 9. His last win comes in Season 6, I believe. He's in the Williams, next to a former Tier 2 champion as well, Blonde. Ikazuchi, an F2 full-time driver in the Kick Sauber. We have 16 in here, but little lower grid to say the least, George, but surely that won't change the racing, as we saw great racing here in Tier 3 in the race that we did here not too long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. If the race is anything to go by off from Tier 3, it should be an absolute cracker again tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. JNT Gaming is on a qualifying lap, and he is our most recent Tier 2 champion. He beat JTK to the title last season. Let's watch his final sector here and what he does. Track limits, George, will be a big thing around here, but he's right now bettering himself by 52 thousandths as we enter one more sector to go. But he had a moment there at the third to last corner. Now he brakes heavy for the second to last corner. Basically 180 degrees right there. Then you do the same thing here for the final corner. He'll get a little bit of dirty air maybe from that Sauber. He'll be fine, but now coming across the line for another improvement, but only just.
I don't think he'll have enough fuel to go again either. So that should be JNT done for qualifying.
Just want to mention...
Vodka is...
You go ahead.
Is Vodka on a lap?
Yes, he is.
He's in medium, but he's on. No, he is. Yeah, he
Look at
is.
this.
I think he's up by about 700ths as well. So maybe he might be able to leapfrog the Red Bull of Blue Goggy.
Look at this, flirting with a good spot on our grid.
What,
Look at this, just
1,000?
1,000th off. That is crazy. Well, George.
We got Jordan as well coming across the line. He's half a second up.
Yeah. After that, we'll get the final flying lap starting. Jordan across the line now. How much of an improvement is this? This is third. Wow. Just want to mention, George, before our final qualifying laps, JTK, if he takes pole tonight, it will tie the all-time record that Reese Dainty and Hunted hold for most pole positions in this tier.
What's that? 9, isn't it?
9. 9 poles.
Wow, we were. As Ikazuchi is coming in. Okay.
Well, he'll be one of the only ones in the pits. Big traffic in the last sector. Polo God starts his lap. We'll watch him before we get to the pole sitting drivers. Polo God, no podium this season so far, but this was the track he took. His second in F1. He's down. He's backed off on this lap, it looks like. He's going to need to race to the finish line to get another one in, because George, he only has 45 seconds to go. JTK, we're on board with him. He starts his lap.
Sam Gina got a little bit blocked, maybe going into turn 1. The Haas of Lerrell went deep on purpose to let him by. Some would say it's distracting. Maybe it'll get looked at in the studio room. I shouldn't think so, though. He's up by 2/10 in the first sector. He needs to be.
Well, JTK coming across the first sector, down by 62 thousandths. We're going to look at Red Fire in just a moment. Red Fire, let's see what he's doing, because he might be the one to contest for pole. 28 thousandths down. Blue Goggy on a lap as well. We have cars coming across the line. Polo God is into the pit lane and only going to start 7th. JNT Gaming, you spoke about him, George. He's not going to get a lap in either. He had to back off of that one. Checkered flag is waving. Sam Gina, who took a podium for the first time last week, he's going to be the first one to complete a lap here as he's got 2 more corners to negotiate.
I didn't see what he was up in the second sector, but he does look like he's improving. He's been pretty neat lap so far.
Cross the line. Sam Gino improves to 7th. Next is the Haas. That is Josh in Tier 2 debut. 7th for him. Next, JTK could not improve pole position. The McLaren of Kipu across the line goes 3rd. And a car crashed at the finish line. Not going to better themselves. Red Fire Tiger does. 4th place for him. Blue Goggy is up by 2/10. Vodka completed the sector. We'll see if he's up as well. Now, we have Ardell, 11th. Lero Fusion, 14th. Luke Range, pitting. Blonde, 13th. Davies, one of the next ones. Goggy goes 3rd. And Vodka is in. JTK takes pole number 9 in Tier 2. He's at the top with Hunted and Reese.
I think Doggy definitely got blocked a little bit. I think it was the Alpine of Vodka. Maybe it was a Williams. I think it was the Alpine of Vodka, though. It did look a little bit hairy in the last sector. I'm not sure if it cost him any time or not. Again, maybe something that is going to be looked at in the steward room. But yeah, cracking result for the Red Bulls. Ferrari really nowhere to be seen apart from JNT. Polo got done in P10. That's a bit of a stinker from him there. Vodka up in P7 in the Alpine. That's a pretty tremendous result. And Josh in the Haas out qualifying a Mercedes.
Yeah, George, I know we talk about the driver standings quite a bit, but Ferrari need a good day in the constructor standings. They're 23 points back from McLaren, who lead the whole thing, and Red Bull getting both their cars, 1st and 3rd, much needed there. One McLaren in here tonight, that's Kipu, so they're going to have to take advantage. We said about both Ferraris, Polo God starts down in 10th, not good from him, looking for our first podium this season. So, here is your order in the top 10. JTK on pole position for, I believe, a 3rd consecutive time. JNT Gaming, 2nd. Blue Goggy in 3rd. One of his best qualifying so far in Tier 2. Kipu, Red Fire, Jordan, Vodka, Josh in his Tier 2 debut. Sam Gino and Polo got big surprises down there for their respective teams. And outside this top 10, Ardell, he qualified well last week, had a good start. Look out for him. Luke Range's Tier 2 return. And that Aston, if C. Davies down there, he has a podium this season. Usually that Aston goes quite well in RPL F1, even Tier 2 sometimes. Expect that car to gain some spots.
Apart from the obvious tracks like Monaco, I think this is up there with one of the hardest tracks to overtake at. because a lot of it depends on, realistically, the only way you can overtake is if you run lower wings, but then obviously running lower wings means you're slower throughout the lap. So maybe we'll see some incidents because people might get a bit desperate on the brakes. I think we're definitely in for a bit of a DRS strain.
Yeah.
But for sure, it's not the hard track. Not the hard track to not the easiest track to overtake at.
Well,
Sorry.
next week's the hardest one.
And I think strategy will be a big factor as well because I believe the undercut is monumental here. But
And,
will tires die off?
and as you know, George, from the Tier 3 race, I mean, the hard tires, if you do get a safety car midway through, you're going to want to be on the hard tires compared to the mediums. The mediums are good for a little bit, but not for a while. We'll see some drivers start in the mediums. We'll see some drivers start in the hards. I don't expect many of them to use the soft compound tire for tonight. So we have some time before rating up. Let's give you a slight reminder of the championship. John is not here tonight, but JTK has a 30-point gap. He can make it just a race between him and John after tonight. With the constructors, you have McLaren ahead of Red Bull, ahead of Ferrari. We'll find out what happens on the whole Kipu disqualification thing and what happens there last week, because there's still, I guess, some TBD with that apparently, with updating everything. If that will be updated or not, George, you probably know more about that. We'll talk about it during the race when things get calmed down. But McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston, they're 62 and 76 points back. I know that's a lot, but with these teams tonight, like McLaren not having a second driver, Ferrari having their drivers out of place, Red Bull with having Gagian instead of the full-time Mentuck usually. She's down to a reserve now. There's a lot that can happen to put Aston and Merck back in this fight. And you spoke about hard tracks to overtake at. Keep in mind the rest of this Tier 2 calendar. 30 seconds till we get going. But we got Monaco next week as well for Tier 2. They return to that track. Texas and Brazil to finish out the season. So lots of storylines to look forward to, George, for sure. 20 seconds.
Yeah, for certain. Just to go back to the Kipu thing quickly, he will be getting disqualified.
So that'll change the constructors even more. That's for sure.
Yep.
5 seconds. We got to see what happens down turn one.
Either Owen does it or Owen admin. Basically, that's the consensus we've come to.
All right, the 5 red lights are coming on for Hungary. They rev it up. And it's time to bring the action. JTK looks like he got a better launch than JNT Gaming, but now Blue Goggy looks like he got a better start. Almost trying to split him 3 wide. The Aston there getting a little dicey. Red Fire to the inside. Oh, there's contact. Red Fire from 4th to 1st. Taking the lead after the Ferrari of JNT and both Red Bulls squabble around. Now, Jordan having to take evasive action. Kippen running in the back of the Red Bull there of Blue Goggy. The Haas of Josh up to 5th. But Red Fire Tiger amazingly in the lead, and Ardell is crashed. He's had contact. Safety car ready.
Yeah, JTK got loads of wheel spin in the second phase of his start there. The initial launch was pretty good. I think he had JNT off the line, but he's just got a load of wheel spin, and that's where he lost out on the start there.
Lots of contact down at turn 1, kind of like the real-life start from Hungary we saw last week. Josh is up 3 places. Red Fire is up 4. He actually started in 5th place. My apologies. Ikazuchi got 4 places right there. Realistically, George, since this is a full course safety car, he is in the best spot here. He started on softs. He started last. He can pit now and go hards the rest of the way onto to the end of this race. But the problem for the hard guys are they can't pit right now. They're in no man's land at this stage with the strategy.
Yeah, I think all JTK and Blue Goggy need to do is just stay in the TRS, the cars in front. It's a strategy I've been using in Tier 3 and it works really well. The medium tyres seem to die off after about 5 or 6 laps, maybe a little bit longer. So if you could just stay within DRS for that long, the race then, from there on in, you are faster than them. Because as soon as you pit, you're on the mediums, and then, yeah, you're faster. So if they can just stick behind, I think we saw as well in the Tier 3 race here at Hungary that the hards are very, very fast, race to tyre. For the minute, it looks like the Red Bulls are still very much in the driver's seat in this race. Ikazuchi starting on the softs. I'm not sure what the game plan was there, I'll be honest, because they're just going to overheat. Everyone else though, wow, a lot of cars pitting for the hards. That's actually very interesting. Polar God being one of them. I wonder how that'll play out, because as you said, they are pretty indestructible in general, and especially around this track. But will the turnaround with a switch to fresh tyres be that much better?
I
much
mean,
faster.
we did know from Tier 3, George, in that race that we did there most recently, that the hards can go basically the whole race. They don't wear a lot. And I'm not surprised if those guys are hoping on there not to be another safety car and just kind of hold the track position here because, as you said, overtaking around here doesn't happen quite often. And it will be big with track limit penalties because there were quite a bit in the Tier 3 race here as well.
Absolutely. The only issue really with pitting in the safety car is that the pit lane isn't that long. I don't think so. The actual advantage you get from the safety car, it's not as big as it would be at say Silverstone or Imola. But for sure they are. Yeah, they are saving a lot of time.
Ardell out of this race after lap 1, by the way. He had the incident down at turn 3. Lap 1 troubles not really avoided there, it looks like, here in Tier 2 tonight. But Luke Range, no, Blonde, sorry, is the one pitting. He's the other Williams that elects to go in. George, I just want to talk about that start since we have a moment to do so into the safety car right now. I saw Bulgogi get a good launch. He looked like he was going to split JTK and J&T right there, the two championship rivals from the last season. But Red Fire Tiger took advantage quite massively. It looked like he took some notes from the real life race here, gone far to the inside. He was from 5th place right there. That's how good of a start he got. And he saw all those guys messing about in front of him, took advantage, dived down the inside, and took the race lead from 5th place. I thought it was 4th, but Red Fire Tiger has really amazed me with how he's done so far in Tier 2 this season despite the struggles. Last week, he finished 4th with the default setup on, and we know how much that impacts you much more this game.
Yeah, he seems to be getting a little bit more consistent. Maybe before the last 2 races, you're a little bit up and down. But he seems to definitely be finding his groove. I was just going to say, the only issue I can see with pitting so early is,
a lot of
as you said, it's so hard to overtake at this track that they aren't going to have any new tyre advantage because everyone's tyres are new. So they're just going to be sat in a DRS train stroking behind people who are going to be much slower than them.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because obviously, being in someone's DRT, your tyres will wear faster. So interesting.
So safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Just to give you a reminder, folks, for those of you wanting to tune into the rest of the races this weekend, we have Texas for F2 tomorrow and F1 in Canada. So Red Fire Tiger does lead this safety car restart. And just a reminder, he's one of those drivers earlier this week or last week who got a contract extension. Red Fire Tiger will be at Mercedes next season in the bigger car. You got as well some Red Bull Academy drivers who got re-signed. Bonky as well. But now to the restart. Red Fire Tiger leads. When does he choose to go? Still weaving about 60 miles per hour, keeping it kind of consistent. Now going up and now going off the final corner. We're back to green flag racing. JTK looks like he wants to get a move on J&T Gaming already. Now to the outside. Will Bulgogi dice it about? No, he won't. He'll have Josh to his outside though instead. Lots of smoke into turn 1. Lots of drivers making moves. Lots of drivers, if they're not making moves, trying to get the other ones to fold under pressure. Kipu down the inside of the Mercedes. You saw the Mercedes with Jordan lock up. These two have a bit of history from Spa. Polo God trying to gain spots. He's gained already on Ikazuchi. Davies and Samgino trying to take advantage. But it looks like everything except for that Polo God area staying very calm so far. And I think that was a front wing going in the air from one of the cars.
Yeah, it looked like J&T was moving around a lot on the straight on that restart. That will probably be investigated if JTK clips it.
Fusion. Maybe late in the brakes, almost hit the car in front of him. Samgino boxed in, overtaken. So Polo God, really the only one of those drivers who've really taken advantage on this restart from that pit stop cycle we had under that safety car. Reminder, you do see safety car on your screen. We are not under safety car conditions. That will go away in about 3 to 5 laps time. Davies, move on Ikazuchi. Down at turn 12, it looks like. Ikazuchi now with the dive bomb back. Maybe a little switcheroo. We saw a lot of those in Tier 3 yesterday, George.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Fusion's the one damaged.
A very close speed gap here. Blue Gogi did have a massive moment going into the second sector on that restart. Maybe they just need to settle in. The hards did take a long time to warm up, I believe, in the Tier 3 race. So maybe that's transferring as well to this race. Yeah, we'll see.
So it was Liral Fusion, the one who picked up damage there at the back of the field. He has got an end plate missing on his Haas. Polo God running 10th right now, just behind Luke Range. And maybe the strategy will get his season going a bit better. Oh, Luke Range went a bit wide. That'll be track limits. But as we know, George Polo God, a very talented driver. His fellow Irishman Owen has his birthday tomorrow. We mentioned that already. Owen, a former Tier 2 champion. But for Polo God, the Irishman currently in Tier 2, he's looking for his first podium of the season. And I think with his struggles, he's had pace in a lot of these races, but as of recent, in races like Silverstone and even this week so far in quali, he's not had the pace. So if you want to get that first podium that you missed out on in Austria, why not try something different with this strategy? I think this is perfect for someone like him who needs really a good end of the season, especially before he misses the next 2 weeks going on vacation, or as you guys call it, holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. JTK seems to have closed back up, and Blue Goggy, they seem to have settled back in a little bit, as JT looking to go around the outside of Red Fire into turn 1. He's got DRS, and he's going to be able to take that into turn 2. Would he be able to get a move on, which is a little bit too far away from it? Red Fire is defending, and that is an interesting strategy. You would think that they'd want to maybe work together to gap the Red Bulls on the hard tyres, but it is Red Fire at the end of the day. He's a bit of a terrorist.
Well, he is known for that, but I will say he has redeemed himself quite well so far in Tier 2. 2 podiums last season. He needs to do the same again this season, though, because that Aston Martin already has a podium with a different driver. He, I would say, is the driver with better pace right now in this Aston Martin. Lyral Fusion picks up the first track limit penalty of this race. Won't be the last time we say that, but Polo God is throwing Luke Range. Ikazuchi is too, and Luke Range is falling down the order as Lyral Fusion has looped it around further on back. Luke Range losing lots of time after being overtaken. That's the tricky part of being overtaken in the middle sector. If you lose one place, you're likely bound to lose another. And for Red Fire Tiger, you spoke about his track record. He only has one win on RPL, George. One win. That was in the equal tier when that was revived 813 days ago. This would be a big win for him if he can hold on for the remainder of the race.
Absolutely. Here comes JNT on Red Fire.
Outside.
Going to fight it. He is. Oh, he's a little bit deep. There's going to be contact. Oh, it's all fair though. Takes him right out of the curve. Good defending from Red Fire. That was all fair. Kept it clean.
He kind of did, I guess, what you would want to say Max wanted Lewis to do in the real life race here just last week. Back out. You're going to go alongside me. I'm going to force you to back out. Red Fire did that very cleanly, to say the least. Top 8 still in DRS in this train. I got to give some credit, though, George, to Vodka and Josh. Both cars not inside the top 5 on performance. They're running up here. They're doing a good job so far, to say the least, in this race.
Yeah, I just want to say a huge shout out to JTK. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Sat behind the 2 mediums drivers with a full 400% battery, watching them fight, waiting for their tyres to die. As Jack would say, the longer they stay out, the faster he's getting. Yep. Their tyres are wearing and his tyres are only getting better. He's just sat waiting to pounce. Blue Goggy as well, 60%. Keeping it a fair distance behind.
Ikazuchi, George, he's been, I guess, forced out wide there. There was contact with Sam Gino. Maybe a bit of moving under braking. Blonde goes through as well, but you were talking about our leaders. Sorry to cut in.
He's boosting. They're both boosting. Are we going to see a 3 wide into turn 1? Jones, he gets borderline of a DRS overtake. Goes deep though. Red Flag with a huge switchback. Can JTK try to fight for the lead down to turn 2? Look, try on the outside. Can't quite get it done. Red Flag goes a little bit wide. Can JTK get the switchback? Not quite. Clean racing. JNT there approves. One mistake, he can go from almost taking the lead to dropping down to almost. Amazing. Who said you like that right, Hungary?
Yeah, I really thought for a moment on that straight into turn 4, JTK just cut off JNT right there. I thought maybe a collision was possible, but we're glad that did not happen because we've seen great racing at the front of this field. JTK, 2/10 back. Remember, he's on the hard tires. Red Fire on the mediums. JNT on the mediums. Josh, Jordan, Vodka, they're also on the mediums in this DRS train that goes all the way back to 8th. But yeah, maybe that incident with Ikazuchi and Samgino I saw back there might get sent to the stewards, maybe a bit moving under braking. We'll find out later on. One of the things that we did not mention too much, we mentioned Lyral Fusion getting involved in an incident. He pitted. He blamed Samgino for that one, ruined his whole race. So maybe Samgino, 2 trips to the stewards room. Now, a trip for a race lead gonna happen once again. This time it's with JTK in his hands to take over. Here he goes, boosting, now left side. He pulls a dummy on him, and we'll go the long way around. Does Red Fire break late and still defend? Yes, he does. There's contact. Red Fire getting a little RG Bargy, and JNT Gaming has spun around. He's got damage.
Getting a bit elbows out here from Red Tiger, but I don't think he's doing anything illegal. He's just fighting for the lead, which, you know, it's respectable. JTK, though, he doesn't need to fight him. He's got more battery. He's got his teammate behind him as a rear gunner. He's so far driving a pretty much perfect race. All he's got to do is wait for Red Tiger's tyres to die. Keep putting the pressure on, and the race will come to him. JT under pressure from C. Davis went to the chicane. Oh, bit of elbows out there. JT losing more time. He lost his front wing and he's letting past Sam Gino. Wow. Yeah. JT's race really has gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, whatever happened, George, there down at turn 1, he lost part of his wing. Do you know what happened there while we watched our leaders?
I didn't see it, no. I was on board with Red Fire and JTK as well.
I know as soon as JTK was going for the move on Red Fire, he got vulnerable to Blue Gagi, but whatever happened there, that sent him down even further. So yeah, unfortunate for JNT Gaming, but our championship leaders looking to take over the lead once again, boosting, and now before the start-finish line is going to elect to go out. Lap 10 of this race. Does JTK take over? Blue Gagi waiting in the wings. Does he go for a 2? No. JTK, little squeeze here, maybe Red Fire? No, but he makes him back out and concedes for second place. Blue Gagi now going for second. He had a wiggle, and now Jordan defending from Kipu. Jordan maybe moving a bit right there to defend on Kipu again. But Blue Gagi, Kipu, they have to back out in their respective battles for second and fourth. But Blue Gagi, is he aggressive enough to go for it? No. Wow.
Watch out for Kipu as well. He's doing exactly what JTK was doing. Just sat on the train, harvesting ERS on those hard tyres, letting the race come to him. As Blue Gagi's getting very ambitious behind the Red Tiger. As Red Tiger has a huge snap, is probably going to go for it. He does. Red is fighting it. This is perfect for JTK as he's now picking DRS. Red Tiger seems to have lost his head a little bit. He's fighting too much on track and he's not thinking about the big picture here.
Well, I will say, this is going to be interesting though, because Blue Gagi and JTK are both on the same strategy. If they find a way to be 1-2 in this race and control this over Kipu, they will have the advantage later on. But just remember, look who's closed up to this train who's already pitted. Polo God, C. Davies, and Sam Gino. Polo God makes a move. That's for 7th. He's through on Vodka. Now the Academy teammate of Kipu is trying to get Jordan here. Blue Gagi's trying to get Red Fire. Down to turn 1. Here we go. Blue Gagi is ahead. Kipu late on the brakes as well, trying to get Jordan. A little bit of squeezing between both battles here, but Blue Gagi is clearing through and Kipu is as well. Wow.
That was pretty clinical from Blue Gagi and Red Tiger, to be fair. They both kept it respectful, but it was hard racing. Kipu as well, I think he needs to get past Red Fire pretty sharpish. He needs to just stick with Blue Gagi now, because I think Blue Gagi should drive away from Red.
I really think here JTK is in a very good spot right now, even for the championship's sake, to where Blue Gagi, I think he wouldn't. C. Davies makes a move in Vodka. Vodka down another place. About to be 2 here. Contact. A little touching there into turn 9-ish, I believe that is. But I was just going to say, I think right now with where Red Bull are at and the constructors and drivers with this, Ferrari are down there. McLaren only have 1 car. JTK has a comfortable enough lead to where I think they're free to race here at Red Bull. George?
Goggy's captain, that's huge for the race as well. These Red Bulls are pulling off an absolute masterclass here.
And you know what, Blue Gagi. Yep, Blue Gagi looking for his first win as well. That'd be crucial today as well. Very, very big confidence booster after signing a contract for V-Carb next season. He will be the first Red Bull reserve likely with JNT Gaming full-time at Red Bull then. Polo God looks to make a move on the Academy teammate. Sam Gino with Vodka. We have battles all over this track. Luke Range in on the mix. Polo God trying to get his Academy teammate. Will his Academy teammate put up a fight? Yes, he will. Josh is really being aggressive here, not letting Polo God through. This is not good for the Academy teammates right now, especially with Red Bull gapping this train right behind.
Who is keeping it? He's caught back into Goggy's DRS. That's not really advantageous. They really wanted to keep that gap to the constructors' rivals. Huge from Kipu though. He's done massively well there to drive back into the DRS. I wonder if Goggy's made a mistake. He's lost quite a bit of time to JTK in the process of this lap.
And Kipu is there. He's on the hards. He's on this better strategy right here for later on. We'll see how that works out. But Jordan and Josh, do not forget about them. They are on the medium compound tires. Does anybody pit on those mediums to slap? Like Vodka, Jordan, or Josh? Jordan is electing to go in. You got to be careful not to hit these curbs, George. They are so slippy, and I think Jordan almost did that. He is so lucky right there. Vodka too.
I wonder if Kipu and Gorky will work together to try and catch JTK, or if Gorky will try and hold up Kipu as much as he can to make sure JTK gets the win. Oh, as Kipu almost drops into the wall. Wow! Huge save there. Can Gorky capitalise this lap and break out a DRS? He's boosted. He has won it, but there's a whole lap to go yet, really.
George, this is crucial for fourth right now. Josh was fourth just moments ago, by the way, and he, I would say, kind of held up Polo God in this battle. C. Davies is right there now for what will be the net race lead when things do pan out. This is not good for Polo, having his academy teammate Josh in his Tier 2 debut really put up that fight, because C. Davies, I mean, he's going to be in DRS of Polo God. He's there. They're on the same ERS practically. So this is really not good. And Sam Gino's going to get by Josh soon enough here as well. This is not good for Polo at all.
Well, we can't forget that Polo God is in the net race lead. He hasn't pit. Well, he has pitted, sorry, and he is more than likely going to the end.
He has to. He has no other choice right now, unless there's a safety car.
Absolutely. So it'd be interesting to see. C. Davis is what I believe pitted. Kipu is looking very racy on the back of Flugogi. Is he going to be able to get a move into turn one? Boosting all the way down the inside. He's got it. Is he gone deep though?
Big send. Whoa.
Switch back for Goggy. Oh, he's boosting.
Will he pull it off?
Kipu's got DRS. Gets the move down. Great move.
Wow, yeah. Red Fire Tiger setting his sights clear. Fastest lap right there on the newer hards. He'll be charging to get up to this field. C. Davies, who had DRS, now boosting. Not close enough to Polo God. It looks like Polo God uses ERS right there. What has happened?
Big snap for Goggy. Didn't lose too much time, however, he will have shit his pants.
Yeah, not what you want to do, especially now losing time to JTK, our race leader. You said Polo God will make it to the end, so will C. Davies, so will Sam Gino. Unless they're... Oh, Polo God has went wide, so did C. Davies. I was going to say, unless their car is that poor on the tires. I mean, you can make it to the rest of the way in the end, but you're not in the spot that Red Fire Tiger is in, who has more time to gain, will gain more time, but the thing for guys like Polo, Sam Gino, Steve Davies, and even, well, Luke, even though he's yet to pit, is track position. That's what you'll have, and that's what you want. You just better hope that, well, helps out in the end. Two academy teammates, Sam Gino and C. Davies. Do we see a move? Because Sam Gino has DRS, C. Davies does not. No move right there. Polo got big snap there into turn one. Something to also keep an eye out on. Down to turn two, although C. Davies got within a second, George, because there's double DRS at that detection point entering the final corner, you get double DRS right there. That's how the system works at Hungary.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you miss it at the end of the last sector, you are stuffed pretty much. Well, I was to say, what is interesting though in Polo God's campaign for the win is that he has got a bit of a train behind him of C. Davis and Sam Gino, who are all on the same strategy. So anybody that is going to try and get through the pack, like the Red Bulls or Kipu, they will have to go through a bit of a train, which, as we can see on this track, is easier said than done. However, it all depends on how quickly and how hard those ties fall off.
I think for Polo God's case, he's really got to keep C. Davies in DRS, but not enough. Right there, that 9/10 gap, that's what he needs to do. Keep him just in DRS right there, and hope that the Red Fire Tiger undercut is not as powerful. And look at this. Blue Goggy through for second place now once again. Blonde is in. I expect Luke Range and the other hard runners to come in very soon, maybe in the next few laps here. And Blonde speeds. That is not good. He's actually retired in the pit lane right there. He's our second retirement. That is not good.
Easy clip.
Yeah, he better have a good reason, George, because if he doesn't have a good reason, that will easily be penalizable. We've seen this the last few weeks be penalizable. A lot of people not too happy about that, but the rules are the rules. You gotta have a valid reason if you're gonna retire. But one thing I want to note about Red Fire Tiger, you were gonna mention JTK, Kipu, Goggy with this I guess getting through the field. Red Fire Tiger with this undercut, they're going to have to deal with it. You said pit lane is quite short around here. 18 seconds Red Fire is off these leaders. And he's also 12 seconds behind Polo God. So if he gains enough time here and puts on the lightning pace that he's currently had, he will get there. It's just a matter of passing him, though.
I wonder if this undercut Red Fire is putting on the two Red Bulls will be too much for them to respond with on the mediums, because we saw it in Tier 3 yesterday that the mediums were much faster than the hards, and I was able to catch back up that 5-second gap on invade. However, we saw in Tier 3 for certain, as Kipu goes back past Goggy, we saw here in Tier 3 that invade was on the hards, quite a few left on hards, and everyone else was on fresh mediums, and he was more than capable of keeping up, if not being faster than us. So I wonder if the offset will be big enough for them to make up that that undercut advantage.
Lyral Fusion, broken his front wing, safety car deployed. That is big to this race, and that will allow JTK, Kipu, Blugagi all to get a free pit stop. That is big. You mentioned those hards. This will come in effective with the track position Polo God would have right now. I was going to say, George, I pulled that same strategy. Got Sauber a good points finish in that race. That helped out massively. And right now, if you're one of these Saubers or even lower cars like Josh and them, you're going to want to stay out on hards. You're not going to want to go to the mediums. Lyral Fusion looped it at the fourth. Sorry, I was going to say Lyral Fusion looped it at the fourth to last corner and then spun again and hit the barrier. He broke his front wing. He's now out.
Clip that. He cut the pet entry as well. I'm not sure if you saw it. But yeah, this has completely ruined Red Fire's race. I really thought the strategy pulled off the start was being a bit of a masterclass again. Everyone's pitting. Oh, is Polo pitting? No, Polo stays out.
This is smart. I like this.
I'm not sure if I do, because
do.
Almost everyone is pitting, so he's going to come out with everyone behind him with fresh tyres.
The only problem is Red Fire is going to be P2 here. He needs JTK to get out of the pit lane at a timely rate for Polo's case, excuse me, to get there, and JTK will remain at least inside the top 3. Kipu will not. So I was just going to say with what Polo did, here's why I like this, George. I did the same exact thing. It was not a Ferrari like Invade did, but it was in a Sauber. I think the mediums are good for quite a bit, but you need to manage this ERS quite well. I don't know if he's going to win out to JTK, but he probably will win out for a podium here, Polo, and this is exactly what he needs. These hards can go the rest of the way. These hards as well will be good on their tire wear. You won't really see much degrading at all. But the thing for Polo here that he needs to do is when he's defending, he needs to burn that battery as much as he can and then save it in the middle sector. Be a roadblock, basically. Because that is his only hope here in this sense. That ERS will overpower the DRS, I think, in my honest opinion. The slipstream, maybe that's the difference. It's OP on this game. But the big advantage that he'll have compared to guys like Red Fire, JTK, Kipu, that Ferrari's the fastest car in a straight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, honestly, I think it should be easy work for JTK to get past Polo. I think the traction that he'll have on his mediums will be second to none. It's just a matter of if Polo can stay with JTK's DRS, because that would be massive for his race if he could.
Just a reminder, Josh, the only one without a track limit penalty in this race. I do think this does invite Kipu and Blugagi back into this, because there is now a car in front of JTK that will battle them, will battle, and it will put them guys, Kipu and Blugagi, back in this fight for sure. It's just, like I said, George, although the mediums are faster around here, they're not faster for that much longer than the hards. I think that's the tough thing. I think the hard and the mediums are about level playing ground, but what's more important right now? You getting the track position when you overtake with those laps? Because Polo God needs to hang on for the first 3, 4, or 5 laps of this restart in order to really have a chance, I think. What's going to be more important here? That will be the big question. Track limits also a thing as well. How many track limits do these guys, warnings do these guys have?
I think the big question is has Polo got the minerals? Has he got the racecraft? Has he got the experience to make it happen? Because JTK is the fastest driver in the tier, massive championships lead, faster car, fast tyres, you know, all the odds are stacked against Polo, but has he got the brain and willpower to make it happen?
So I have received why John missed out on racing. He had his power go out before an hour, and it was an estimated 2.5 hours to be restored. That is unfortunate for our man second place in the championship, as if it couldn't get more unlucky, George, after he had wheel issues the week before Silverstone.
Yeah, it's almost like it's God's will.
Yeah. It really is unfortunate.
I
I think for Polo God in this restart here, George, he needs to have a good restart. He needs the Ferrari Academy teammates of J&T, Josh, those guys, get up as close as you can to the Mercedes right there, because you know they'll be backing Red Fire. Even to Blue Goggy, if any of them have trouble, make sure they can't get back to support a team right here. That will be the biggest thing they can do for Polo after what Josh did earlier on. This will be a very crucial restart. He needs to nail these first 5 laps in order to have a chance to hold on. You call this one, George.
I think he's going to get it done. He seems like he's caught JTK napping, or has he? Yeah, I think he has. It's a good restart. Will JTK be able to get this slipstream though into turn 1? He's staying behind Red Fire as well, or keeping it very
whoa!
tiny. C. Davey, big chance, the Academy teammate.
Polo God
as well
is under pressure to the inside. JTK is through into the lead once again. He caught him napping.
Great move there from JTK. He needed to do that. And what's huge for him now is that Polo God will be behind him, holding the pack up while JTK is able to try and break DRS.
Whoa! Red Fire, all out of shape, behind Polo. This is going to cost anybody a chance to fight for the lead. Here comes Kippo to the inside. Big send in through.
JTK's got the gap.
He does. He needs that. He also needs Kippo to get there. If there's any chance of this race going anyone else's way, here goes Blue Goggy and C. Davies fighting this out. C. Davies to the inside. Goggy is ahead now. Big stack up behind. Almost a bit of contact from the Haas on the rear. But Polo God, I think right now, he didn't have a good restart. He didn't warm up these hards. He's a sitting duck right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare from Polo God so far. Is Kippo trying to challenge around the outside? Will he be able to get it done? Oh, Red Fire sticking in the distance. Kippo holds you around the outside. Brilliant move.
Was it off track? It was almost 3 abreast. Now defending
Contact
still.
2 by 2. It's Noah's Ark.
Oh, Polo God hangs on. He gets cut off and Red Fire almost goes into the wall.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Rubbing is racing. And Polo's going wide. Oh, we're going to rejoin. Red Fire on the outside. Oh my God. That's amazing.
Red Fire get the upper edge. They're ahead, but Polo God, like I said, did not have a good restart. Red Fire didn't have a good one either. He got overtaken by Goggy, but these mediums going to the advantage of these guys, and a big slide from Red Fire Tiger. He lost DRS from that as well.
Yeah, it's looking like it was a bit of a strategy blunder here from Polo.
Yeah.
At least for the minute.
Fire had better tires than he did, realistically, if you think about it. Now he's under pressure from C. Davies. Oh, this is going to get tight. This is going to get very, very tight. Big squeeze from Polo.
Oh, no! What the fuck?
Wow.
Oh my God, that's huge offboard.
Lots of contact, but Blue Goggy for second place now to make it a Red Bull 1-2. He's through and ahead, but he needed to brake too late. He might have. Locks up. Kippo back to the inside. Switcheroo. Now, Kippo to the curb. Goggy ahead. Big racing between two good friends.
Polo down to 8. I believe he lost 3 places in that straight. He is struggling. He needs a safety car and have to get back in this race, because there is been a bit of a nightmare so far for Ferrari Academy, or for Ferrari team in general, actually, and Ferrari Academy. Not a single Ferrari Academy. Apart from the 2 Ferraris, not a single one of them in the points. And those cars that are in the points are in 9th and 10th. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it might have worked for Invade and a few others in Tier 3, even Lando Norris, your teammate at the time, George, but it has not worked out for Polo today. I think more so because his tires are, well, definitely to say the least, 2 times the amount worn as the other ones on hard. So that's the tricky thing for him as Josh looks to get a move on here for 10th. Polo God now about to lose the points spots that he had. This is really heartbreaking. I thought that strategy was really going to go well, but it just seems like the more tire wear he had compared to Red Fire did come in handy for those wanting to take advantage. And speaking of advantages, here we go. Second, Kippo through.
I wonder. I was gonna say. I wonder if Red Fire will fight C Davies. C Davies is on the faster tyre, and it would make logical sense for Red Fire was to let him pass, which he has done by the looks. Can C Davies drive away into the distance now? You would think he would be able to.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if Blue Goggy needs that extra support, maybe for second place, do you think with JTK's championship gap and currently Red Bull having the day that they have, that maybe, even though he'd still win the race, he'd help his teammate if in some way Goggy gets back through on Kipu and needs that extra support?
I mean, it's not worth the compromise in my opinion. JTK's driving his own race. He's got a championship to think about. Blue Goggy should be able to, at least be competitive in a 1v1. Otherwise, let's be honest, he doesn't really shouldn't be in this seat. But no, I back Blue Goggy. He's looking competent, competitive.
Had a good race today. Looking for a 4th Tier 2 podium, I believe. He's had multiple podiums across all tiers. I think almost it's about double digits time for Blue Goggy, but if he takes over a podium today, he'll be getting his 4th for Tier 2, to my knowledge. Kipu would be getting, I believe, his 2nd, and JTK is 20th all-time. Now, a battle brewing between the Mercs. They were side by side just a lap or two ago. Now the Astons are close, and that's exactly why I talk about Blue Goggy doing that, George. They're 3 seconds ahead of C. Davies there in that battle behind. And Kipu is catching JTK, by the way. This is interesting. JTK, did he make a mistake? He's just in non-ERS, it looks like.
He has boosted a little bit, which may indicate he has made a bit of a mistake. But no, he is on none on 100%. It's just unreal sandbagging from him, trying to not get banned from the tier.
Well, maybe just like you, it's going to wait till the championship is clinched.
I think looking like JTK maybe promoted to tier 1 either by force or not.
Right.
I think for sure either way he definitely earned a season tier 1. He's been on top of tier 2 now for a good, almost 2 seasons.
Yeah, he's finally found his form. He's consistent now.
Absolutely, yeah.
He has only been off the podium 1 race this season, Austria. Even then, he was what, 4th? Yeah, Polo got penalty.
Bad to worse for him. Set to purple sector in the process. Gets a 3 second nightmare.
Luke Grange hits J&T. There was contact down at turn 1. Josh in there, and he spun.
My go.
2.2, George. I really don't know what Kipu's done to turn up the battery, or really JTK just to save so much. Is he really going to help his teammate here? If he is put back into Kipu, is he going to really... Oh, Goggy off! Goggy into the grass! Put that in the equation now.
Very interesting. Very boring, actually. Really.
Wow.
That's ruined the race. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Well, he's not back into C. Davies, that's for sure. There was a move between Merc Academy cars, but... Yeah, I think with JTK, similar to your contract, George, in Tier 3 that you have with Mercedes, JTK has one with Red Bull. This will definitely be interesting to see how things pan out if he does get banned from the tier. I think the difference now that sets him different with J&T is J&T was consistent last season, getting results not as much on pace being the fastest driver, but because of being the most consistent and keeping his car clean. JTK has not always been the fastest, but he's been 2nd fastest, and regardless, just like you, he's been consistent in all these races, even when he's been 2nd fastest, and he's just really been the man to beat. So yeah, whatever he figured out after having that late season blunder, I guess, in the 2nd half, he's really kept it from happening this season. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a big way to win races in RPL or in racing in general, which is to keep your nose clean and not get any penalties. You see it a lot in a race like Imola Tier 3, for example. Every single driver got a track limit penalty. So it's just a simple thing, just keeping your nose clean and not getting any track limits, and you're already looking at game positions. JTK has a huge snap there, loses a lot of time. Is Kipu going to be able to get back into DRS? No, not quite, but he's lost about 1.5 seconds there. Wow.
If he does win today, by the way, it will be his 7th win, and it will be the most of any driver in this tier without a title. I'm sure JTK will be having one hand on the title with how he's been performing today. But Kipu is also looking for a first win. Now, that'll be a big question if he can get there because there's a safety car deployed. No front wing for Polo God.
What happened there then? Polo's off.
What is going on to his race because he is just absolutely in the mud. Safety car out. This will change things drastically. I don't think you pit for softs here, George. I think the softs die so quick.
No, I agree, yeah. I agree.
If you're
I
not
think
in mediums,
the
you pit.
mediums are still looking good, and
Yeah.
I think I would prefer track position personally.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm Red Fire Tiger, I think about it because he's hanging on a little bit. But...
Oh. Polo God has hit the pit wall. All right.
You can still get points though, so you wouldn't think he'd do this.
Yeah, this is hell for him, George. I really feel bad. Tier 2, F2. He's returned to league racing in RPL, and really these last 2 months now have not been it. He has not scored a single point in F2. He's not had a single podium in Tier 2. This is really whatever has happened in this return. This is not the same Polo God we saw back in F1 seasons 1 to 6 or 7 really at all. Not even the one we saw in Imola when you got that win, George. He got a podium in a Haas. This is not the same Polo.
I mean, I think for certain he can still clutch up a good result here. That penalty he's got though will be very detrimental.
Yeah.
I think he's on the soft sides, the fast driver and a fast car. And other people are pitting. Who was it? Steve Davies and both Mercedes. Why are both Mercedes pitting? Okay.
Surely softs then. Polo went there. I mean, they're going to think this race is going to restart with 5 laps. They have enough to do so. They're on mediums. Why would they go to mediums then? Maybe an extra set? I don't know.
Maybe.
Softs for Luke. Softs for Vodka. Softs for Samgino. Softs for Polo God as well. It is a sad race for Polo. I agree with the chat.
JNT, a huge comeback from being around and out with front wing damage. Back up to P5. He could still maybe even get a podium here.
Maybe him and Steve Davies worth a driver of the day mention if Kipu doesn't get this win.
Well, yeah, there's still 7 laps to go yet.
I think realistically this is Kipu's best chance this season for a win. You've got him in the McLaren now going to Alpine again next season. He felt like he got messed up there. We mentioned this a bit last week, George. He had a chance last week after a drive-through penalty. Well, before a drive-through penalty. The drive-through penalty put really an end to his race and challenging for the victory. He doesn't have his teammate here to do anything, but this would put a big statement if he can beat both Red Bulls tonight.
Yeah, I think the most crucial thing now for him in this race is they cannot afford to let JTK gap, because we've seen him do it twice now this race. As soon as he breaks DRS, he is gone. Kipu needs to really stick a move on him on this restart and assert his dominance. Let him know what his intentions are. Get racy, get his elbows out, because he is very much unproven in the realm of winning races in Tier 2 compared to the likes of JTK. So he really needs to stamp his authority and get nasty. He needs to let his inner Max Verstappen come out here now.
And as you said, Kipu will be being disqualified from Silverstone, so that means more points for Red Bull, more points for Ferrari, less points for McLaren. So really this race where McLaren are leading the constructors, it's going to go back to Red Bull's favor, but it's going to go back even more than it really will be. Yeah, shout out to JNT, recovery drive, Red Fire, 17 laps in the hards. He's the only one left on them on this last restart. Track position he's prioritizing. C. Davies, the first one who pitted. Jordan, trying to recover from Mercedes. We've not talked a lot about him. He's had a quiet race, just not really able to do a lot with his car around the circuit, to say the least. And Luke Range in the Williams, the second to worst car, one of the worst around this circuit for sure, from what I've noticed, especially from the Tier 3 race we ran here, George. A former Tier 2 winner, former Tier 1 champion, 95 wins across all tiers. Luke Range, it's good to see him back. I know he's not done a whole lot this race, but he's kept himself in a lot of fights, though. He's not had a lonely race, to say the least. He's been right there, right about.
Well, I'm not sure how much progress he'll be able to make. I think it might get a bit elbows out between him and Red Fire towards the end of the race. I don't think Red Fire will have much pace in those hards, because don't forget, I believe Polo God's hards were about 17, 18 laps old on the last restart, which is how old Red Fire's are now.
Yeah.
And we all saw how slow he was on the restart, so maybe it'll be the same for Red Fire unless he's kept his tyres in better nick. We shall see in about 4 corners time.
Well, I think we'll see a preview of what we're going to see in Monaco next week with this potentially last restart of this race. JTK leads for Red Bull on the mediums. Everyone stayed on those mediums just ahead. Kipu further behind in second, kind of lacking back. Now, Blue Goggy there in third for the teammate. What will happen in this final restart potentially of this race? Round 7 of the season. 5-6 laps to go. JTK leads and leaving it to the last moment. Back to green on the gas. Stomps on it. Side by side behind. Some moves being made. Luke Grange the first one. But for second place, Kipu has it. Goggy wants it.
I didn't see that because I was on board with Kipu, but if Goggy was alongside during that restart, he should be getting a penalty for that. However, let's go back to the action. Red Fire tyre making moves, going absolutely against what I said. Huge from him. Blue Goggy is in the trenches a little bit. Not the restart he would have wanted. Can Kipu stay within DRS? So that is crucial. He cannot afford to get into a battle with Red Fire Tiger. He needs to get his head down and not let JTK get away.
Blue Goggy had a big snap, and JNT Gaming looked like he tried to take advantage. Someone had an end plate go flying in the air in the back. But Luke Grange, by the way, you spoke about side by side. He was the one I saw pulling out before the start-finish line. We'll see if that gets investigated. Lots of drivers being ballsy on that restart, but most importantly, Kipu is still in DRS range as we get that enabled next lap. Red Fire to third, Goggy, J&T, C. Davies, and now Luke Grange up to 7th on Jordan. Polo God going wide again.
Pretty chaotic restart here. I think everyone knows how important track position is, and everyone wants to capitalise. Luke's got 90% battery. He's going to get a bit spunky down to turn 1, I think.
DRS
and
enabled.
C. Davis as well. Not got much battery to play with, but he's going in front on the Ferrari. Will he be able to get the move done? Late braking. Keeps it stopped, gets it stopped. Move done. Can JT fight back?
Incident! Damage on one of the cars! That might have been Luke Grange's Williams, maybe with their front wing. J&T Gaming pulling off and almost going into the side of another car. Polo got his damage.
Lucas lost his front left. Lucas lost his front left end plate.
You may have seen him as well. On that lap prior, he was in the grass taking avoiding action. Red Fire with a penalty.
Not what he needed. TS has been enabled this lap though. Can they gap Red Fire and can JTK gap Kipu?
Polo God off. And in the gravel, his race has gone from bad to worse. The Ferrari will have both cars pointless, it looks like. But you know who this helps? You were talking about, George. C. Davies right there. Now maybe Luke Grange. Down the inside.
Very close to JTK.
Hold on. Big send. C. Davies connecting with Blue Goggy. They're both off. And Luke Grange goes through and has the net podium for Williams. Oh, my. For our lead. You were speaking about it, George. I'm sorry to cut in, but there was a lot happening, and there will be down to turn 1. I think Kipu stays behind. He does stay behind in a turn 2. Sorry about that, George, but 3 wide!
Yeah, it's been very racy up front and for last podium position. Everyone's getting very desperate.
Kipu onto the grass and goes off. He was side by side to turn 4. He couldn't do it. Big drama for our lead. Polo got out in the pit lane. Big battle for 5th reigns on. Sorry. Wow.
I did not see what happened to Kipu there. Was he forced off or was he true?
Went on the curb, George. I think he wanted to maybe make JTK get under pressure, but it hurt him worse.
Oh, he might have got a warning there. He's almost out of DRS. He needs to boost to keep staying it. Jordan gets a 3 second.
Well,
Kipu cannot afford to lose DRS here because that'll drag him back into the fight now for P4, which as we've seen has been very aggressive.
Here's JTK using his DRS, or not DRS, excuse me, ERS. Kipu has ERS to use, and he's using it, and the DRS. Move for 5th now. Or, sorry, 6th. Blue Goggy and Samgino. C. Davies and Red Fire swap it around. Goggy with an Alacia send! Way too deep! And somehow doesn't go into Luke. Luke has damage. Samgino goes through the pair of them. It's all kicking off, George. And Red Fire back down to 4th. He's struggling.
The problem tactical to let C. Davies through is probably... They've worked it really well to defend his Aston Martins. They've been great teammates to each other so far this race. As JT gets to 3 seconds, Kipu has managed to get himself back under control. He's back into the DRS of JTK. However, JTK has got a borderline full battery compared to Kipu's 60%.
Yeah.
I think Kipu will be able to recharge now once he's resettled. As I said, he's already back up to borderline 80%. This is very interesting, though. As I said, but I think. I'll be honest. I don't think it matters if Kipu has got DRS on JTK. I think the Red Bull straight line speed with full deployment will be enough to keep it behind no matter what. C. Davis, mind, he's still in this. He's got massive pace.
Win for Aston Martin? Ooh, that would be big. They've never won in this tier. Yeah. Here we go. For our race lead, Kipu closing. C. Davies closing for 2nd. Here we go! A big set! Oh, and there's contact! Crash! Davies around!
Kipu's got front wing damage as well. That has ruined both their races in one move. Wow. That has handed the win to JTK. Gutting for Kipu. He was setting up perfectly as well, and it's just been absolutely stripped away from him. He's won a field for him.
This is really unfortunate for Kipu. Just is not fair for him having this happen once again, this time out of his own control. He tried to defend C. Davies, the other Merc Academy driver, went for a send. There was contact, and it's heartbreak again. If for some reason Kipu's wing damage is bad enough to where Goggy can close up, I think he might have a chance to get to Samgino, but it's all a matter of how Red Fire and Samgino take advantage of Kipu here. He's basically a sitting duck. JTK will take our final lap here in just a moment.
I think Kipu should have enough of the tank to hold on to P2 here.
But his damage is just gonna hurt him though, George. He's not gonna be able to maintain the speed here in this middle sector.
I think even a P2 is not really enough for him. He deserved the right to fight for the lead more than what he did, as Red Fire has got DRS and boost. Here we go, it's turn 1.
Red Fire on the move, going for it. Will he get through even with the penalty? Shoves Kipu wide. Kipu is off, and Samgino is there. Will Samgino get the position with the help of his teammate? Academy teammate, in fact. Yes, he does. Samgino up into 3rd. But right now, this will be P2 with the penalties. Kipu is fighting back. Down to turn 4. We've seen this happen already. Kipu get onto the curb. He almost did again. And he was lucky enough not to. And he almost lost it. Josh, side by side with Luke. Luke sends it to stay ahead. Luke has damage. Josh, he went off in the restart. And this is just a lot of battling to focus on here as we enter Sector 3 here soon.
Yeah, I think Kipu is getting a bit desperate there. You can't blame him. He's lost DRS now as well as JNT ends off what has been a pretty embarrassing race for the Ferraris today.
Really has.
JTK though,
yeah,
coming into the last 2 corners, he's driven pretty much perfectly. You can't fault him.
Here he comes into the final corner. Your championship leader, basically with one hand on the trophy at this point, into Monaco, wins for the 7th time. JTK is a rock star in Hungary, taking the win. Samgino, 2nd. Kipu, 3rd. He probably won't care though. A win goes away once again. Samgino, his best result, by the way, in RPL. Congrats to him. C. Davies, Red Fire, both asses in the top 5. Blue Goggy, then Luke Range in his Tier 2 return. Vodka, Ikozuchi in his Tier 2 debut. And Josh get points. But Ferrari, George, they were pointless today. They did not need this for the constructors.
And JT's going to get a penalty for this as well, mate. What's he doing?
Well, other people have done it and they don't get a penalty, so I don't really understand why that would be one. It is wasting time.
If it gets clipped, it would be always dangerous trying and disrespectful. Leon's got penalties for it before, doing it in the race and qualifying.
Fair enough. That is it from the results, or the race. Before we go to results, George, any driver of the day contenders you would say?
Has to be JTK. no
Yeah.
competition in
Yeah.
my opinion. I
Yeah.
think Kipu was in the running, but it was taken away from him by no fault of his own. JTK drove perfectly on the hards, perfect strategy, managed to get out race beautifully. Realistically, he wasn't challenged throughout the race, let's be honest. So yeah, it has to be JTK for me.
Kipu's frustrated with the way that went. Your podium celebration's underway. JTK with that Dutch flag. No backflip this time, but I would hope to see one next week in Monaco if he wins the title, because George, after Monaco, will have 52 points available. JTK just took what, 25, 26, and well, that championship gap now, George. If that's the case, that's 55, 56 points potentially. 56.
You would think that is yet for certain one hand on the trophy, especially in the form he's in as well.
Oh, we're communicating with online services. Lovely. All right, well, now we're good. You said JTK driver of the day. I'll say my second and third options, though. C. Davies and maybe either Luke Ranger, Ikazuchi. They deserve some shout-outs, to say the least, with their results. Josh as well, points.
I'd agree with you, Davis, up until the movie put on Kipu. I think that
Yeah.
it ruined both their races. There was no need for it. It was, I think,
Agreed.
it was definitely an honest mistake, but
Yeah. Yeah, easily. Vodka points, Luke Range points. They had some good races, to say the least. Vodka, maybe not as good as qualifying. Second race for him. Ikazuchi, first tier 2 race. Josh, first tier 2 race. Points for them. They have something to hold their head held high on. That was a tongue twister. But yeah, any final thoughts on tonight's race, George, before we go to F2 and F1 tomorrow?
TK is the only person in tier 2 who can stay out of carnage. He seems that he drove perfectly in the sense that got the gap and let all the carnage fall behind him, which is what champions do. Can anyone beat him? I don't think they can. John has proven that he can do it on track. However, he never turns up. So I think JDK is definitely the man to beat.
It's not that he never turns up, John. I think it's always unlucky when he doesn't. He had his wheel issue 2 weeks ago. This week, power cut out. I think the racing gods don't like him, to say the least, George. It really sucks, because if it weren't for those 2 races, I think we'd have a championship battle on our hands, to say the least.
Yeah, for certain we have been robbed, but JDK.
Because even when John got unlucky in Qatar and Bahrain, he still finished what, P5, P6, and was still 30 points back into tonight, even missing a race.
Yeah. But that's just motorsport, though, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is, yeah. It sucks, but that happens. Well, yeah, I think my final thoughts with JTK, though, if you want mine, George. I think the difference with this season and last season is JTK was a proven winner last season and could do it on his day. This time he can do it any day. And the thing with JTK that's different this season is he's, unlike last season, he's not folding under the pressure. It just really sucks that we were robbed of any chance of a battle for the win between the 3 cars, because, as Kipu said for himself, what more else does he need to do? He really costed himself with the drive-through he had. Bahrain, he was battling for second for the, well, he kind of cost himself a chance at the victory, but he was battling for second in proximity to the victory. And today, no fault of his own. It does not go Kipu's way. It feels like he's the one in JTK's shoes from about 2 seasons ago, before any title fight he was involved with, where that first win, there was things happening before then that prevented him from getting there. And I think that's where Kipu's at and where JTK's at. He's at the best of his ability right now. It's good to see.
Absolutely, it's nice to see drivers performing at their best. And I guess it's the carnage that has been ensuing behind him is more a credit to how desperate everyone is to try and beat him, and how hard everyone has to try to beat him. It's more of a testament to him than anything, I think.
Well, there was an incident that has just been put in the chat, driver's chat. I'm not sure if it'll be submitted, but there was an incident with Jordan and Ardell during qualifying. We'll see if that gets submitted ahead of Monaco next week, and if it is, it'll be something to talk about, George.
I think this would be
Because
quite
it looks
clips, let's be honest. What
very
the
controversial.
happened there?
Yeah, that is not good. Well, either way, we have 2 races to remain out this weekend. We have F2 in Texas tomorrow. I'll be on commentary for that one. And Titan and Lando will be on commentary for F1 in Canada Tier 3 next week. Speaking of titles, we talked about this one. That can get wrapped up quite easily in Tier 3 with Mexico being the next round. And for Tier 2, we'll be there once again for Monaco next week. Only the second time in F1.5 and Tier 2 history we'll be running around the streets of Monte Carlo. Ryan Searles, George Alp-Williams, your 2 commentators, and Tier 3 drivers. We'll see you then for next week in Monaco or tomorrow to finish off the weekend. Good night.
Bye,
Goodbye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.